welcome to Wild Heart Yoga. For those of you who are new here, I am Hannah Ray, the instructor and content creator of this channel. Today I have for you the final class, class 6 of our 6-part Letting Go series, which is a yin-focused series of classes. Today's class is going to be the most true yin style class that we have done yet, as there will be less flowing between the yin holds that we're doing today. So if you're ready, grab a mat and let's get started.
Welcome to today's short yin flow. We're going to begin today's practice in rabbit's pose. So starting from our knees, let's go ahead and bring the chest forward as you reach your hands back, bringing the crown of your head toward the mat. And if you need to stack some blocks under your head today, or a stack of towels, or maybe even stay in cat pose, then that's perfectly fine. Just make sure to listen to your body and to meet yourself where you're at today. If you are reaching around your ankles or your heels or shins, then with each inhale, imagine feeling that separation of the shoulder blades. And with your exhale, let go of that tension, imagining it melt away. And as you're here in this first yin pose, just take a few moments to set your intention for today's practice, perhaps setting the intention to be present, to stay in tune with your breath and your body, to set aside any thoughts, distractions, worries, to-do lists running through your mind that can wait till later. Perhaps mentally envisioning a box that you are placing these thoughts or to-dos into, and imagining putting the lid on and setting that aside onto a shelf for later. Breathe into this present moment, thanking yourself for taking this time to nourish yourself, to nourish your mind, your body, your spirit. And if your mind begins to wander throughout today's practice, I want you to really focus on gently bringing your attention and awareness back to the present moment and to what's happening within you. So without judgment or without frustration. It's very natural for our minds to wander, so be gentle with yourself. All right, on your next exhale, go ahead and release the ankles or feet if you're holding them. Bring yourself back on up to tabletop, and we're going to go right into our thread the needle pose. So slide the right arm under your chest, reaching left arm forward, hips above the knees, and sink your chest forward. Forehead can be resting on the mat or turned to the side, whichever is more comfortable for you here. And breathe in fresh oxygen, energy into those shoulders, the chest. If you need to adjust your position a little bit to make sure that your hips are above your knees, please do so now. It's always worth taking a few extra moments to adjust our pose if we are not quite in the right position. Very good. Keep on tuning in here. Staying present each breath, imagining that fresh oxygen and energy moving into your body, moving through any areas of stiffness or tension. With each exhale, releasing that, releasing the worries, releasing distractions, releasing stiffness from the body. Feel free to play around with your arm position slightly if you'd like, maybe moving the arm up or down a bit, just to see if you can find where your body speaks to you, what areas specifically for you need attention. All right, on your next exhale, go ahead and bring yourself back up to tabletop, and let's go right to the other side. So now left arm slides under the chest, right arm reaches forward. Once again, making sure our hips are above the knees, and placing the forehead on the mat again, or turning your head sideways. Once again, feeling the release of the tension in the shoulder, noticing if this side maybe feels a bit different than the other side did. We're taking all of our yin poses for about 2 minutes today, so just be patient, remember to breathe, especially as discomfort arises or if you're feeling the urge to come out of a pose. I'd encourage you to take some deep breaths to see if you can hang out a little bit longer. But of course, if you're feeling pain or too much discomfort, always back off a little or modify the pose perhaps if you need to. Very good, just a little bit longer here. One more breath. Very good. And as you exhale, bring yourself back up to tabletop, adjusting on your mat if you need to. And now we're going to take our puppy pose. So once again, making sure the hips are above the knees. Go ahead and extend the arms out forward and begin to lower your chest toward the mat. I'm going to use some blocks today to take this even a little bit deeper, but the blocks aren't necessary if you don't have them or don't want to use them. And if you'd like to get this stretched even more in your triceps, you can do as I'm doing also, and bring the palms together and overhead into a prayer position. This will move that stretch just a bit deeper through the triceps. But take whichever variation feels right for you today. With each exhale, try to let that sternum sink a little bit closer to the mat, feeling that release. Keep coming back to that intention you set at the beginning of this class. Remaining aware, remaining present. Two more deep breaths here. Very good. And on your next exhale, bring yourself back up. Remove the blocks if you have them. And then we're going to take our saddle position. So coming to seated with the heels on the outside of your legs. Slowly begin to recline with your arms out behind you. Maybe you're supporting yourself with your hands, or maybe you're resting back on your elbows. Or if it's within your practice, go ahead and bring yourself all the way back down to your shoulders. But take whichever variation is best for you today. If this is too intense, even sitting up, then maybe lay on your belly and take a lying quad stretch instead, where you reach for your ankle from behind you, lying on your stomach, and pull the heel toward the glute. If you're in a full saddle position, go ahead and place one hand on your stomach and one on your chest. Feel the breath, movement of the heartbeat. Becoming more aware, once again aware of that energy moving throughout you. breathwork can be a very essential part of yoga practice that can take our practice that much further and really yield to improve our lives that much greater when we begin to master breathwork practices. One common practice of breathwork in yoga is our yogic breathing, or ujjayi breathing, which is a deep inhale through the nostrils and a heavy sigh or ocean-sounding exhale from the back of the throat, often through the mouth. So maybe continue here, focusing on that ujjayi breathing, noticing how this takes your release perhaps a bit deeper. Very good. Now on your next exhale, go ahead and come out of your saddle pose. Bring yourself up to your elbows, then your hands if you're all the way back. And then go ahead and make your way to your back on the mat. Legs extended toward the sky. Then we're going to take our plough pose. So one vertebrae at a time, go ahead and roll your legs overhead till your toes touch the ground. If you're not rolling this far today, that's completely fine. Just make it as far as you can. Continuing to listen to your body. So here we want to be rolled up onto the highest part of our shoulders as we can. You can have your toes pointed or tucked if you'd like a bit of a deeper stretch in the calves. And while I'm in this pose, I like to kind of press through the toes a little bit to feel a deeper engagement in the calves. But feel free to play with it, taking as much micro movements or stillness as feels right for you today. Maybe moving the hips side to side here just slightly, being careful not to lose your balance. Now, if this feels intense enough for you here, I want you to just stay here holding your plow. But if it's within your practice and you'd like to go a bit further, let's go ahead and take our snail pose. So slowly lower the knees down to either side of the head and find stillness here as we feel a bit of a deeper release through the back and the neck. Very good. Now on your next exhale, slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time, hugging the knees into your chest, and then go ahead and lower them down to the mat. Now I'm going to use some blocks again for this next pose. You're welcome to, or you can just do this without blocks. We are going to take a Supta Baddha Konasana. I'm going to place my 2 blocks stacked under my mid-back, just below where my shoulder blades are, to feel a deeper opening through the chest here. If you don't have blocks or something stacked to lay under your back, then just lay flat on the mat, taking a normal Supta Baddha Konasana. So bottoms of the feet are together, knees just falling out to the sides, feeling the opening sensation through the hips. And as you're here, once again, tune into that breath, maybe trying out that ujjayi breathing, noticing how that changes the sensation in your body, the state of relaxation, resistance melting away, and a greater calmness entering your mind and your body. Very good. Halfway there in this pose. Just keep on breathing and checking back in if you've drifted away. All right, on your next exhale, go ahead and remove the blocks from under you if you have them. And then take a few windshield wipers of the legs, loosening up the low back of the hips. And then go ahead and extend your legs down, arms to the side, as we take our final pose, our Savasana. One more time, checking in with the body, noticing how it feels different now than it did at the beginning of this practice. Maybe scanning through, noticing if there's tension being held left anywhere in the feet, the legs, the abs, the chest, the arms, the throat, the jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of the mouth, softening the small muscles of the eyes and the facial muscles, releasing any tension in the fingers or the toes and the shoulder blades or the back or the glutes and hips. Each inhale, imagining warm light entering from the crown of the head, moving through the body, bringing warm peace and stillness as it moves through you and exits through the toes. And while you're here taking this final Savasana, I want you to think about what mantra or affirmation or intention you would like to see happen in your life, you would like to believe into your life. Perhaps that is something like, I am calm and confident. I will not be ruled by fear. Or perhaps I am capable of cultivating purpose with my life today. Whatever it is, mentally speaking it to yourself 3 times. Then continuing to tune back in with the breath. Breathing naturally, just paying attention and noticing the natural movement of the breath as it enters and exits the body. If you're ready to come out of your Savasana with me today, go ahead and start wiggling the fingers and the toes, waking the body back up, becoming aware of your surroundings again, the sensation of your body against the mat, any sounds that you hear. And on your next exhale, go ahead and flutter the eyes open as you turn onto your side for fetal position and make your way to seated for one final closing breath together. On your next exhale, take one more big reach overhead and exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Bowing down, thanking yourself for taking the time for today's practice. Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining today's class. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons. That's the best way to help support this channel so that I can continue creating this great free content for you all. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.